It is a huge, huge honor today to be interviewing what everyone knows as the front desk lady, a fellow in the American Academy of Dental Office Managers. You worked in dental offices for 20 years, even though you look like you're 21. And you understand the struggles to put the patient's needs first while still taking care of the business of the front office. As a renowned consultant and speaker, she trains dental office teams to focus on patients, which leads to more production and increases in office referrals. You're recognized as one of the top 25 women in dentistry on Dental Products Report. That's a huge honor. You're a published author. You've written articles for Dentistry IQ, the Dental Geek, AADOM Observer, and AGD Impact. She is an active lifetime member and fellow of the American Association of Dental Office Managers. And in 2014, you were the Office Manager of the Year for the American Association of Dental Office Managers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that is an elite group. I spoke for them, I think it was in San Diego a couple of years ago. And I mean, those were the most intelligent office manager collection I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, you couldn't meet one woman in that building that couldn't run Heartland Dental or Pacific Dental. I mean, really, they just knew their stuff backwards, frontwards. I mean, that was an amazing group. So my first question to you is sorry to jump right into this, but and by the way, I'm your hugest fan. I really am. Follow you on Facebook. What is your Facebook page called?
It's actually Front Desk Lady. Pretty much everything I do is Front Desk Lady.
Front Desk Lady. My question is this. I think this is the $1,000,000 question that I don't know sometimes if I'm giving the right advice. You know, the brain, I see it as like a bag of ping pong balls, and everybody's smart. Some of their ping pong balls are just made of gold and smart, and some of their ping pong balls are missing, broken, or they just have no interest in it. Like, you know, I don't like the term, this person's a musical genius, because, you know, you're sitting there at the ASU Gamage watching this lady play violin, but hell, she's been playing the violin 4 hours a day from age 5 to 35. I assume you get good if you played 4 hours a day for your entire flipping life. I don't think she's a musical genius. I think she had a huge interest in playing the violin. And if you do something for 10, 20 years, you master it. In fact, most research shows that if you just do it for 10 years, you get damn good. You know, that Malcolm Goldridge book, Outliers, or one of his books, where he's talking about, you know, that most all experts took 10 years or 10,000 hours to achieve the top. You've been doing it for 20 years. I've been doing it for 30 years. I mean, you used to get good. But my question is this. If you were a dentist and you buy a dental office and you're running your dental office and you truly just want to do root canals and crowns, and if you go to a CE course, you just want to learn how to do implants and read CBCTs and all that stuff, and you just really have no interest in running the business, do you think they can delegate all that to an office manager? Or do you think they have to learn all that stuff themselves too?
Well, you know, that's a great question. I definitely think that it should be done by, you know, a professional, an office administrator, office manager, whatever they want to be called these days. But
what do they want to be called? Because you can call a man anything in the world. I always refer to dentists as she, because I've never got one complaint from a man saying, "Oh, you call dentists a she," but I've gotten a gazillion because I referred to a dentist as a he. So I just call them all she's, because cover all my bases.
I get slack because I call myself the Front Desk Lady, and someone once mentioned to me that, well, you know, it's not just women up front. I said, well, if you read the Bible and you believe in the American Constitution, where all men are created equal, then all front desk ladies are created equal too. But you know, back to your original question.
But what are they? What am I supposed to call them and not be offensive? Front desk, receptionist. I don't like the deal. Insurance coordinator, treatment coordinator, finance. I mean, what's the lump sum? You're not a hygienist. You're not an assistant. You're not a dentist. What are you?
I am an office manager. I don't think you would offend anyone by calling them an office manager. But I heard this when I was at the AADOM meeting earlier in September, that they're getting away from that now. They're calling them practice administrators. You know, it's 10 of these, 10 of those. I don't think it really matters. Front desk lady doesn't offend me. It offends a lot of other people. As a matter of fact, I took that name because one of the doctors that I worked for a few years back was giving a tour of the facility, and she walked around the entire office, and when she got finished, she looked at me and she said, "This is Lisa." I mean, she stopped and thought about it for a good minute and finally said, "She's our front desk lady." And I just sat there and I thought, well, you have choices. It can make you bitter or it can make you better. So you know what I did, Howard? I went out and had business cards made and I put Lisa M. Spradley, FDL. I had the initials and I wasn't in debt. I was happy. So it really doesn't matter to me.
That is awesome. So should they hire an office manager and just delegate all that, or do they need to learn it all too? I mean, because let me ask you a pointed question. What percent of dentists wouldn't even know how to check out a patient and send off the electronic claims to the insurance company?
Oh gosh, it's got to be at least 80%. At least 80. Most dentists don't want anything to do with that. But they need to know how to do it, because how do you know that you're not being ripped off if you don't have some understanding of what's supposed to happen up there? And you can't rely on your accountant to tell you everything, because most dentists aren't even using an accountant that's familiar with the dental world. So they can't even tell them how to break down their outgoing money. So how in the world are they going to know that something's being ripped off if they don't have an idea of what's happening? I think they definitely need to delegate it, because, the dentist needs to keep their hands wet. But the office manager or practice administrator, whatever you want to call them, needs to be reporting to the doctor and letting them know what's happening. And the doctor needs to actually follow up. Do you know how many offices I go into? And, there's a very legitimate professional person up front, and she'll tell me, Lisa, I take my reports in there at the end of every day, and I put them on his desk for him to read, and when I come in the next morning, they're exactly where I found them before. He doesn't even look at them. Now, how sad is that? I mean, this is your business. Pay attention to what's going on.
But all humans are only going to pay attention to anything they're interested in. And the same guy that tells you, I don't have the memory you do. I don't know how you remember all that stuff. And then they'll tell you every World Series winner, loser going back 40 years. Like, dude, that's because you care about baseball and you don't care about physics. I mean, it's just what you're interested in.
Well, in that case, you just pray that you have someone that's really on your side up there. But if you read the articles like I do, and David Harris is always putting out some new report about someone who's been, committing fraud at the front desk, it's kind of scary to not have some knowledge or pay a little bit of attention to what's happening, or they're in denial.
But see, I don't even know why there is an American Association of Dental Office Managers. I don't find it necessary at all, because you just throw your spouse up there. I mean, whoever you were making out with in the back of the car, that's I mean, what more qualifications do you need to run a dental office? Isn't the person just supposed to be whoever you're married to running the front?
I guess if you're happily married, maybe, but you might be throwing that out the damn door too. Let's be honest. You have got to have someone up there who knows what the heck it is that's supposed to happen. One of the biggest things that bothers the stew out of me is why it is we do want to throw someone up there that's going to work for free, or we can pay really cheap. This is what you went to school for. This is your livelihood. Why are you not concerned with what's happening at your front desk? You know yourself, you could be the best dentist in the world, and if that person that's calling doesn't like me, they're not going to see you.
Okay, so who's those two ladies that started the AADOM?
Well, Heather Colicchio started it.
Heather and what? Colicchio?
Colicchio. Mm-hmm.
Spell that.
Colicchio.
Heather Colicchio. Is she related to Pinocchio? Is she Italian?
Her husband might be.
Heather Colicchio. Heather Colicchio, a.k.a. Dental Pinocchio. And wasn't she started with two ladies? Wasn't it two ladies?
No, Heather started it, but Lori came in about a year. Lori Streeter came in about a year after. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what I always thought, my job is I'm just trying to help dentists run their life faster, easier, higher quality, lower price, make more money. And just at the end of the day, my only two goals for everybody on earth is just be happy and healthy. The hardest thing about life is just getting through it. And if you can get through the whole damn thing and the whole time be happy and healthy, then you're the luckiest person to ever live, because we all come up to some great struggles in our life. But I always thought, with 205,000 members on Dental Town, that Heather Colicchio and Lori Streeter should do an online CE course on Dental Town about the front desk and the value of what it would, the return on investment of what it would be if all those dentists on Dental Town went up to their front desk lady and said, "You know what? You're going to join the AADOM, and my goal is to get you a fellowship." And they got this Dental Town package deal, and yeah, I watched the course, and you're going to come back and watch it with me. And how many years would it take them to get their fellowship in the American Association of Dental Office Managers?
It takes a year.
1 year.
One year.
Perfect.
Put yourself at it. It takes a year.
I mean, you give and what would the travel time? Because a lot of these people are married, kids, whatever. I mean, can they do it all from their home in Parsons, Kansas, or would they have to?
Most of it you do at home. The only travel that I do through AADOM is when I go to the conference. And that's, of course, when you get your highest amount of CE. But they offer courses online that you can take. Most of them are during the lunch hour, so you don't even have to do it, a lot of your downtime. Most of what you're doing is during the business day.
So how many hours is it? I mean, tell them what you had to do to be FAADOM.
When I got my FAADOM, it was, I think, 12 or 13 hours that I had to get. Plus, I had to have, of course, a letter of referral from my doctor.
12 to 13 hours of CE?
Mm-hmm. Which they offer to you. You get it from them. And I also had to take a few courses through the Dale Foundation on just basic office management etiquette. And
through the Dale Foundation?
Dale Foundation, D-A-L-E. D-A-L-E.
Is that the Dale Carnegie?
No, sir. No, sir. It's associated with the D-A-N-B. Danby?
And educate me on that. Dental Association National Board? Dental Assistants National Board?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
Sir. They have 3 courses on there that are geared towards office management, human resources, financial. The third one is not coming to me right now. But yes, those are 3 courses that we have to take, and you actually get credits for those, which can be now applied towards your fellowship from, I think, 2015 out. They're going to start doing that.
And to get your fellowship, you need 13 hours?
Well, it went up. When I took it, it was 13. I think now it's 33, but that's because
Damn, that's a 300% jump.
That's because the credits that you get from the Dale Foundation now go towards your
So if a dentist is listening to this and saying, "You know what? I hired my front desk lady, and I'm in a town of 5,000, and she used to be the manager at Subway, and now she's running a dental office, and if I signed her up for this and said, okay, you can do this, it'll be a year, you have to take 33 hours of education, you can do all of it online," would she ever need to have to travel?
I think so, Howard, because think how many conferences do you go to as a dentist? It's not just about going to a class. It's about the networking.
Absolutely.
You yourself said it. When you went to the AADOM meeting, the energy that you have there, these women and men are phenomenal. They know their stuff, and there's nothing better. One of the biggest problems I had when I was trying to start a study group in my area, my dentist told me, he said, "Lisa, nobody's going to want to do it because they don't want their office managers to talk to each other." Now, mind you, I was going to a meeting where all of the dentists in Southeast Mississippi get together and talk to each other. I said, "So what do you think we're going to say that you wouldn't? We're not going to go out there and tell everybody else what we're making." It's just the networking.
Yeah, you are. Of course you are. But the bottom line is that's an age-old problem. Owners are always afraid of labor. Right now, United merged with US Air. They've been in courts suing each other. GM, Chrysler, Boeing. These companies are always on strike. So it's always going to be the lion and the lamb check.
But for the most part,
there's nothing wrong with all the office managers talking about how much money they get. Who cares?
I see myself as a professional, and money is not the only time I talk money is when I'm talking to the patient. Money is not my goal. It's not my driver. What I'm doing is hopefully trying to educate, and I think that's the biggest part of where AADOM, the reason why Heather created AADOM was because there were no resources out there for dental office managers. You can go to all kinds of schools to become a manager for a medical facility, but the dental office management, that's just recently becoming the in thing.
And we also saw another company come out of nowhere, Jay Geyer's, the scheduling ensue, where he saw that no one's even training the front desk how to answer a phone. Mm-hmm. And he built that into a huge organization just because when he started, there was zero competition. Nobody had ever thought maybe the person answering the phone should be educated.
Yes.
Maybe if we spent $1 educating her, you'd get $2 back.
Yeah. Well, I like
Now,
to think I have a slightly different approach than Jay, but okay.
but we'll talk about that. What's your different approach than Jay?
Because I think that when you're talking to the patient, you should truthfully answer any question that they ask. I don't think it should be just get them in the chair and we'll tell them about their insurance benefits when they get here. I just, you know what? I believe Howard. I
Well,
don't think,
Jay is aggressive. He's an aggressive
yes.
man from Atlanta. And you're
I don't
probably
believe,
a little more shy and humble from Mississippi. And by the way, I just want to tell you one thing about Mississippi. I never did learn how to spell that word.
well, you can just abbreviate it. MS works.
MS works.
MS works. That's fine. But I just think that when a patient calls, it's my job to see if that patient, to not only be friendly to them, but to see if they're a good fit for our practice. We don't have to get every single person that calls on that phone because they may not be a good fit for us and maybe we're not a good fit for them. So I think you need to discern that when you're on that initial phone call.
Now, are you still an office manager in Hattiesburg, Mississippi?
I am. I don't work as many days as I used to, but I love my doctor. I'm not going anywhere.
And where is Hattiesburg? I assume it's on the Mississippi River.
No. We're actually 70 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. If you know the University of Southern Mississippi, which is where Brett Favre went to school, that's Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
So that's where the university is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I love Mississippi, and I love the fact that when you eat soup in Mississippi, you have no idea what's going to be in there. They just throw everything in that soup. When you grew up in Kansas, there were only like 3 ingredients in soup. There was like carrots, potato chunks, and meat. You go down to Mississippi and you got a bowl of
It's a little bit of everything. Yes, sir.
it is a little bit of everything. I think you throw anything in there. Do you even have a recipe, or do you just like throw stuff in the pot for half an hour and then
Just throw
cook
stuff
it?
in the pot. Then the most important ingredient down here, of course, would be crawfish.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
ugh.
and crawfish is when I grew up in Kansas, it was bait. It was fishing bait.
Well, I grew up in Ohio, so it was definitely, something I had never heard of before I moved here.
And it was I was lecturing with Jerome Smith, and they brought out this stuff and they're gonna cook it, and I literally thought it was the fishing bait for tomorrow going bass fishing, and then they steamed, cooked, broiled all that stuff up, and I'm like, really, you eat fishing bait? And they were all laughing at me and everything. I thought, okay, maybe that's why they're all drinking so much. You got to drink before you eat fishing bait, but man, it was tasty, very tasty.
I liked it.
So continue.
So anyway, going back to what the dentist should know, I just think that when they know what's happening, then they're more informed. And AADOM is, I found it online. I had a specific question. I couldn't tell you what that was now, but this was about 5 or 6 years ago. And I saw it, I joined. It was, at the time I joined, it was $99. I didn't even ask my dentist to pay. I'm willing to invest $99 in myself. So I did that and I loved it. I went to the first meeting, which was in Las Vegas, I think in 2008 or 9. Met some wonderful people that I'm still friends with today. And really, I'll never forget, Melissa Meredith won Office Manager of the Year that year. And I remember watching her go up there and thinking, oh my gosh, I'll never get there. And then, last year, my doctor nominated me, and I was like, oh wow, it's very humbling because those are some incredibly smart women.
Well, I am so proud of you, and I just think that's so damn cool. And that's why I want you, when you're done, send me an email, howard@dentaltown.com, and CC Heather and Lori and say, do a podcast with Howard and make an online C-course to explain. They need to market better to the dentist. They're probably doing a great job marketing to all the dental office managers, but they need to succinctly teach for an hour a big, here's the low-hanging fruit of what a great office manager does and all that stuff, and let's get your front desk lady energized and motivated. Let's sign her up to set the goal. In 1 year, you're going to take 33 hours, get your fellowship in the Academy of Dental Association Office Managers, and I just think that would make the whole office happier and healthier and more functional. So talk about the things you learn. What would someone learn if they got their FAADOM like you?
Well, you learn, gosh, a little bit of everything. As a member, you're entitled to attend online courses once a month, and it can be on anything from human resources, the latest tools to help us reactivate patients, patient activator, revenue well. There's just a plethora of them. Dealing with difficult patients, how to best treatment plan a patient, just anything and everything that we do at the front is covered in that continuing education. And as far as what I learned from it, I mean, number one, it keeps me up to date in the industry because I think we had 150 vendors at our last meeting. So there's everything. I mean, I saw products I'd never even heard of before, dental warranty. I thought, well, that's a cool, thing to offer to your patients. And just all different types of vendors that way. And then the speakers. Oh my gosh, Fred Joyle's always there. Love Fred, love listening to him talk. We had One Mind Health there presenting information.
Who?
One Mind Health.
One Mind Health?
Yes, they help you send claims electronically, and they do a lot more than that, but the claim submission, verifying benefits and eligibility, they're a great tool to use for that. I mean, just all different types of things that keep me current, and I can take back to my doctor and say, hey, I heard about this, we should look into it more. And that's the biggest takeaway, is bringing this information back to your doctor and your team. And of course, you've got to narrow it down. You can go to these conferences and come home with 50 different things, but picking your top 3 and presenting it to the team and saying, how can we implement this, or is this something that we would like to implement in our practice?
My job is to guesstimate what these dentists are thinking, and unfortunately, Lisa, I think almost everybody listening is a dentist. I
Right.
I have no evidence that an office manager ever listened to my program, but back in the day, you did? You listened to my show before I asked you to be on it? You're already listening to the show. There was back in the day when I got to school in 28, there was a company called Trojan that would help you verify patients' insurances. And now here it is. They're still around. And now 3 decades later, you're talking about One Mind Health. My question is, am I old school? I have Kalani. Which is funny because she's Hispanic, but she's from Hawaii, and her name, you think Kalani, you think that's a Hawaiian name. You think she's Hawaiian, she looks Hawaiian, but she's actually Spanish. You end up in Hawaii and came back. Do you think, I have Kalani call every single insurance case for every patient and manually go through and verify all the benefits for every single patient. Do I need to be doing that, or do you think that could be automated? Because we used Trojan back in the day, but it seems like a lot of people just to get rid of, money's such a big issue. You don't want to mess that up. So we humanly call every single claim, company and get a run through their benefits. Is that necessary, unnecessary? What do you think of that?
Honestly, I think it's a huge waste of your money. I think of the other things that Kalani could be doing for your practice. Now, will there be times when we may still have to call? Sure. I mean, there's always that odd case. But for the most part, especially a company like One Mind Health, the information that they can give you at the touch of a button frees her up to be able to do other things with that patient, like scheduling them or arranging financial, information. But yeah, the days of having to call every single insurance company, especially remembering how much time we spend on hold and the disconnects and the rude people on the other end of the phone, which, unfortunately affects our attitude.
I asked her if she has to be on hold very long, and she says she doesn't care. She just surfs Facebook while she's on hold.
Okay, well, there.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Howard, I want to come work for you.
Hey, you have a job. You have an open job. You ever want to move from Mississippi and move from the land of crawfish to scorpions? You do have a job. So then talk about that specifically. What would how would you verify claims? What is the best practice of verifying claims faster, easier, more accurate, lower cost? Would you go with Trojan? Would you go with One Mind Health? How would you do that these days?
Well, I really like One Mind Health. One Mind Health to me is like the Cadillac of the companies that are out there.
Where are they out of?
Okay, well, I know the woman that I speak, Laura Edwards, is out of Virginia. I don't know if One Mind Health is out of Virginia or not.
Can you email Laura and me, Howard, at Dentaltown, and Laura, and I want to see if that'll work for my Today's Dental?
Okay, I will definitely.
And if she's any good, I'll podcast her.
Okay, yes, most definitely. Yeah, she
So
She's
how's
actually
it?
the one who spoke at AADOM, and I mean their product is just exceptional. It's not just you instantly file a claim. I mean, Howard, you touch a button, the claim is filed, and it'll tell you right then and there what they're going to pay. So there's no more guesstimating how much a patient owes. You know right then and there what the patient owes you for that visit.
Damn,
That
I'm gonna have to send you money for letting me podcast. I should be hiring you right now. So now, is this a piece of software, or is it on the cloud
yes.
like, or is it on the cloud like Google, or is this something I install in my PC, and does it network with Dentrix, EagleSoft, SoftDent, Open Dental?
My understanding is that it does integrate with all of the larger software companies. So I know that EagleSoft, Dentrix, oh, what's the other one that's leaving me right now?
SoftDent,
SoftDent.
PracticeWorks, Open
Yes,
Dental.
it works with all of those. So now, if it's
Damn,
cloud-based
I
or not, I
can't. So
don't
so
think.
you're saying when I get done interviewing you, I can drive to the office and fire Kalani?
No,
Oh,
no.
this is great news. I can't wait. I gotta fire Kalani. My
Yeah,
God.
don't you dare.
And I like Kalani 12,000 times more when she's at my house watching the Super Bowl, drinking beer with her husband, than when she's on the phone trying to verify claims anyway. So maybe that's a good thing. So is this a monthly service fee, or do they charge per
Yes.
claim? Is it per
No,
claim, or is it a percentage of the claim? How's the fee work?
no, there's a monthly service fee. I mean, they'll install it. It is something that has to be installed on your computer. So, and then there's a monthly service fee to do your claims, your eligibility. You can, like, once again, click a button and find out, what benefits they have left, what percentages they pay at. And then they also do, if you have other doctors in your area that have One Mind Health, you can share information between them as far as, if you're a general dentist and there's a specialist. And I believe they do statements too.
Huh. I'm going to put you on hold right now because I'm going to call my office and fire Kalani, then come back on the call.
If you
And
fire Kalani, I'm going to have to, seriously hurt you.
I just found it. You're so smart. It is in Virginia. I just Googled it on my iPhone, and it is in Virginia. One Mind Health. That is amazing. This is so fun. The funniest thing about my podcast, people just say, "Well, why do you do it? It's for free. You don't make any money. All that stuff." It's like, dude, I get to talk to the smartest people in dentistry every damn day for an hour. It's like I have the most rocking hot, fun lunch, informative, great people. I mean, you just turned me on to One Mind Health, and I just already have emailed it to Kalani.
Hope you didn't tell her you're fired.
I said, Kalani, I should say, please install this now and then fire yourself, so I don't have to. I don't have to do it myself. Yeah, that's great. So now, how accurate are they? That's what everybody listening is thinking. Oh, come on! If you don't call them up, Lisa, it's junk in, junk out. The data's never right. If you don't get a human on the phone, it's never going to be right. What do you
No,
say to that?
I haven't found that to be true at all. Of course, everything, they're always going to tell you it's an estimate, doesn't count any claims that are still in process. I mean, no matter how accurate the information is, by the time we file a claim, who knows what's going to change that information. But I have found in the offices that I work with that it is really true to what it says. I mean, even using, what is it, EagleSoft, and the information that I can get through their electronic eligibility, even using that is fairly accurate. The only thing about, a company or a service like what EagleSoft offers is that they do not have all of the insurance companies under their belt that One Mind Health does. I mean, One Mind Health has people that are just dedicated to getting insurance companies on board to giving you the information. And you know what's best about it, Howard? We didn't even talk about this. It's consistently the same information for each insurance company. So many times when you electronically verify information, they may just tell you, yes, they have benefits of $1,200. They don't break it down. And One Mind Health consistently gives you the same information, and it's detailed. And that's because they asked us, the office managers, at one of the meetings several years ago, what do you want? What is it that you need to have when you're verifying eligibility? And that's how they used our information to build this program that's, to me, one of the best out there.
Okay, so then to answer your own question, what do you need? I'm sure there's kids out there so young in their learning curve that they're thinking, Well, what do you need to verify? I mean, if they brought in the form and they work for a company and they have dental insurance, why? What do I need to know?
Okay,
Because
now,
remember, the biggest consumer of these podcasts are kids.
okay.
I mean,
Well, what you
podcasters
need
are
to know
kids.
is, okay, it's perfectly wonderful that they have dental benefits. Is there a waiting period? Did they just get the benefits? Implants. Everybody wants to have an implant these days. Unfortunately, a lot of insurance companies still think that insurance is a cosmetic procedure and they don't cover it. So are there implant benefits? At what percentage? And is there a missing tooth clause? So let's say you want to do a bridge and that tooth's been missing for the past 20 years. Is the dental benefit carrier going to cover it? And that's something I'd like to bring up real quick. I would love to revolutionize your young people that are listening. It's not insurance, Howard. It's not insurance. It's dental benefits. And we don't have an annual maximum. Your credit card has a maximum. We have annual benefits that can be exhausted. And that's it. Because when you start referring to it as insurance, and that's how the patient refers to it, they automatically assume that it's going to cover everything. So it's our job, and I don't care if you're a participating provider or not. If you file a patient's dental benefits for them, then you have a moral obligation, in my opinion, to let them know what those benefits are and how they're covered.
I love it because you're absolutely right. I mean, just from I got an MBA from ASU. There's no such thing as health insurance or dental insurance. Insurance is an actuarial risk analysis versus moral hazard. 100 people have car insurance, only one person wrecks it. So everybody pays a little for the one guy that wrecks. Everybody has fire insurance on their house. Everybody has it, just in case there's that one drunk Irish hygienist smoking in bed that burns her house down. We all chip in a little. But how do you have health insurance when 100% of the world is all going to end up dead?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to die. Every tooth in your head, when people say, well, how could that tooth die? Dude, every tooth in your head's going to die, and you're going to die, and we're all going to die. And someday the sun's going to engulf the earth. I mean, there's no spreading around. Who would we spread the risk on? If you insure 100 people, they all need a cleaning, they all have an x-ray, they all drink Dr. Pepper, none of them own floss. I mean, there's no spreading the risk. You're right. It is a benefit. And why your government or your employer should be subsidizing you to drink Mountain Dew and not floss is beyond me. And I think the biggest stupidity of health insurance around the world is no copayments. Because if you go to grandma and you say, well, grandma, your artificial knees are going to cost $25,000 each and Medicare cover 100%. She's like, well, what does the doctor think? Well, the doctor says you should do it. Okay, well, he's the doctor. But if you said, oh, that's $50,000 and every country runs a 10% copayment of that $50,000, 10% is your portion, $5,000. She'd say, $5,000? Well, I think I'm going to start walking. I think I'm going to join the YMCA. I think I'm going to join a gym. I think I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I mean, if they don't have it, I say, what does Obama and your boss have to do with you not taking care of your teeth? I haven't had a cavity since I took microbiology and learned that the only two bugs that eat teeth or in gums, they can't live in oxygen. They live in between your teeth, under your gums. You floss every morning, floss every night, brush 2 minutes a day and night. And I'm as fat as they come. And when I hear dentists bad-mouthing Coke, I think, well, what the hell else do you mix Jack Daniels with? I mean, I don't know.
Party rum. That's
in fact, if you read the bottle of the back of Jack Daniels, it even says how to mix it with Coke. And if it doesn't say how to mix it with Coke, then on that bottle, you're just supposed to drink it straight. And just trying to clarify that for all my listeners.
It's the same thing as when people come in. One of the things that I love when people tell me is, well, I get 2 free cleanings a year. And I have to tell them, no, actually, they're not free. You're paying for your dental benefits, and they're going to pay us. But the 2 free, but that's what insurance companies come in and tell these employees. Well, you sign up for this policy, and we're going to give you 2 free cleanings a year. It's not free. Why do you lie?
Yeah, when people talk, half the time I don't know whether I should laugh or cry. So I just start laughing. It's like, okay, everything you said is wrong on 8 different levels. Where should I start to how do I even approach this? Unless it's a family member, then I just leave the room or go find a football game and don't even try.
Go find a football game.
so I'm gonna get you in trouble right now. This is Dentistry Uncensored, and so this is the most politically incorrect question I could ask Lisa. But the bottom line is, there's no way you can answer that without pissing off a bunch of people. But I got a dentist out there. She's 25. She's starting her own practice, and she's got to pick a practice management information system. Would you tell her go to Henry Schein's Dentrix, Patterson's EagleSoft, Carestream owns Practice Works and SoftDent. There's Open Dental. There's probably, I think, 40 or 50 different software vendors at the American Dental Association. Who would be your top pick? Give them your top 3 in order, or 4 or 5, or do you just have a favorite? I mean, or I could get you off the hook by saying, well, most of the FAADOMs like this one. You know, you can blame. Oh no, hell, throw Heather off a cliff. Say Heather.
I can't speak for most of the FAADOM, so I can speak for myself.
Okay.
And I can tell you what I like because it's what I use every day, and most of the offices I go into have it, and that is Patterson's EagleSoft.
Really?
I absolutely love their software. I think that it, for me anyway, it pulls up everything that I need. Now I realize that, you know, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like something about it, but that's my favorite. My close second.
Can I tell you
Yes.
the funniest EagleSoft story?
Okay.
They're from Effingham, Illinois, where Rick Workman Heartland Dental is up the street, and Rick didn't use EagleSoft. I don't think he still does to this day. It was kind of an awkward deal where the largest dental office chain and the largest practice management software in dentistry are in the same town at 10,000, and they're not customers of each other. But why did you like EagleSoft?
Well, I have actually used Easy Dental. I don't know if they're even still.
That was the Henry Schein. Henry Schein bought that, and it was a disaster. So they actually turned around and bought Dentrix. And part of the deal when they bought Dentrix is you got to clean up all of our Easy Dental problems.
Okay, well, many years ago when I first started, my doctor, I actually worked for a periodontist. He used Easy Dental. And then the doctor that I went to, that I'm with now, he was first using SoftDent. And to me, that was the most confusing.
I know. And that's what I've been on for 28 years.
Oh, bless your heart.
I know. And I
don't like it.
And that's the problem when you've had staff for 28 years, you know. I mean, the good thing is everybody, I mean, I can go into the grocery store and they don't even say, hi, Dr. Farran. They go, oh, Howard, how's Jan? And, you know, my assistant, you know. And so the trade-off of having a bunch of women that have been with you for almost 30 years is that they start on EagleSoft because it was recommended to them by Fred and Barney, Fred Flintstone and his buddy Barney and Wilma, and trying to get them to change. I mean, you think I was asking them to, you know.
Dentists are like Lutherans. We don't like change. And I'm in trouble.
Are you a Lutheran?
I am.
I grew up Catholic, and that was my favorite Catholic priest of all time. Martin Luther. He was the only guy who stood up to the bureaucracy of the church. He put his 99 Theses. They tried to kill him. The woman who protected him, who eventually married him, is the same type of nun as my oldest sister, a cloistered Carmelite nun. And she hid him in a wine barrel and took him to England because the King of England didn't like the Pope either. And yeah, that guy was just. And now everything he said was eventually the Catholic Church said, "Oh yeah, you're right."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's my favorite my guy. And but sorry. So all humans hate change. I mean, I remember reading that book, Who Moved My Cheese. And that's a classic. You can read that on your lunch hour. If it takes you more than an hour to read that book, you're swallowing the Listerine wrong. Great book, just because monkeys don't like change. No animal likes change. No. Giraffes, rhinoceros, elephants, we all hate change.
Yep. It's very true. But
do you think you like EagleSoft because you were just born into Mississippi, you were born into Lutheranism, and you were born into EagleSoft?
I mean, I've been using it for the past 10 years, and I really like it. And I've gone into other offices that have, and maybe it's just because I don't know the software, but EagleSoft to me, when I go into an office that has it, it's easy. I know where to go. I know what I'm looking for. So, and I'm not just saying that because my Patterson rep might watch this.
Now, now when you go to FAADOM, do you hear any other practice managers that people like? Do you hear any that people say stay away from? It sounds like you hear bad things about SoftDent.
Well, no, I personally had a bad experience with SoftDent. You know who
so do I. I've had 28 years of bad experiences with SoftDent.
Who I hear really the most about is Dentrix. And I realize that they're the other big one out there, but I don't hear a lot of people that love Dentrix. You know, they're using it and they don't care for it too much. Now, I've never used it, so I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm just saying it's amazing to me. That would probably be the one that I hear, you know, the, oh gosh, stay away from the most.
Well, you know, I always feel like I have my pulse on dentistry as well as anybody. I think there's only one guy I know that has their pulse on dentistry better than I do, and that's Howard Goldstein, because he's on the Dental Town message boards 12 hours a day, 7 days a week since like 1998. In fact, finally, after begging him for 10 years to sell his damn office and just work for me full time, and he finally did it. But on the Dental Town message boards, if they're talking about Dentrix, EagleSoft, SoftDent, all it is a bitch and moan. You know, you just, if you just want to read the thread, just bring your crochet and just start stitching and bitching, stitching and bitching, stitching and bitching through 100 pages. The only software that everybody's a raving fan of on Dental Town is Open Dental.
Yes, I was going to say that would be my number two
I mean,
choice.
my God, everybody that ever talks about, oh my God, I love it. I love it. And it's not just people. It's like some really smart people out there. I mean, just some most of my role models have Open Dental, and I've been trying to get my staff to change. And but first they want to get rid of the square wheels on our trailer and put round ones on. But yeah, that's the only one I hear raving fans. So does this One Mind Health, it obviously synchronizes with the major practice management systems?
Yes, sir.
Huh. So I'm going back. I still think all you're talking to is thousands of dentists right now. You may be the only office manager on the program. So talk more about what an office manager should be doing. I mean, what and at least I will say this. I firmly believe in the bottom of my heart that when you do a survey of do you have an office manager or not, that of the ones who say I have an office manager, 90% of them just gave a front desk lady a glorified manager. You still go stand behind them all day, and all there is answering the phone, checking patients in, checking out, doing financial arrangements. And I'm just standing there like, where's the office manager? And they say, well, it's she. And it's like, I'm pretty sure she's answering the phone, doing insurance, scheduling. So what is an office manager?
Well, you know, you raise a really valid point. Unfortunately, it's true. We see a lot of people that don't, I mean, it's title only. And an office manager should, in reality, be someone who is making sure that everyone else in the practice is doing what needs to be done to keep the practice productive, and to make sure that everyone who walks through that door, every patient, every future patient, is treated with the respect that they deserve. To me, I kind of think of it like a choreographer. I mean, we're directing everyone to what they need to do and helping them, giving them the tools to be leaders. That's the biggest thing. We should be the biggest cheerleader for our team. You know, we're empowering them and we're helping them to learn and grow. If I could change one thing in our dental world, and I hope that you can get Heather and Lori to work this out with you, because one of my biggest causes is to make it mandatory for front office team members to have CE. And before you think, oh, well, you know, we don't see patients, you know, what good would it do? I beg to differ. We see patients every single day. We talk to patients. We may see patients when you're not even in the office. We're the only ones who can, because we answer that phone. So we should be just as educated, if not more so, because of the fact everything we do is a reflection of you. And why would you not want us to be at our best? Now, mind you, it's not going to work for everyone. I mean, I'm well aware that there are people that are hired that are simply there for the paycheck. But I also know that there are people there, like your front office lady and myself, who really care and want the best. And we're doing everything we can to learn. And it would be really nice if we could get the acknowledgement that we are out there learning. You know, when I got my FAADOM, and then when I won Office Manager of the Year, and the year before that I had won Office Manager of Distinction, the first thing I did when I got back to the office was put them on the front counter. So all of my plaques are across from the wall where all Dr. Gilder's awards are. And when patients walk up, you know, of course, they're looking at his, and then they're, oh, Lisa, what did you do? I think it's great to let them know that I care so much about taking care of them that I'm going the extra mile.
You know, the only plaque I have is on my teeth. But but what you just said that there should be mandatory continuing education. I mean, I think the states are the most ridiculous because if you go to the dental office, say what is the number one barrier to treatment? Some naive people say, well, is it fear? No, it's price. It's money. They don't have the money to get what's done. And then you go to every state, they're begging for federal dollars for Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, Obamacare, and then then you say, well, at your state dental convention, you should be 20% on practice management so that this dental office can be faster, more efficient in collection and money and lower, faster, easier, higher quality, lower cost. They go, no, we don't want any practice management. It has to be on root canals and crowns, and we don't even give credit for practice management. Like, dude, practice management, money, money's the answer. What's the question? Now, the number one problem in healthcare around the world is money. They don't have the money to treat everyone. They don't have the money for the premiums, the co-payments, and then then what you talk, which is so intelligent that every front desk lady should have continuing education. Like if this software, One Mind Health, filed the claim without an employee, now your overhead's lower. Now you're doing dentistry faster, easier, higher quality, and every government treats in healthcare. Healthcare and government are the only two industries who don't want to talk about money. Faster, easier, cheaper, because the government, they don't have any customers. They just tax you or you go to jail. You know what I mean? And healthcare, yes. They don't care if you have to wait 3 hours in the waiting room. I just went to the hospital for the third time in my life 4 months ago or a couple months ago for a kidney stone. I got there at 2 a.m. Thursday morning to the emergency room. You know when they saw me? When? 6 p.m. Friday. I mean, from Thursday at 2 a.m. to Friday at 2 a.m., 24 hours. And I still hadn't seen a doctor. And every 2 hours, here I am in a garney and a wristband, and every 2 hours, someone will walk in there and say, and what is your name? And then I tell my name. What is your age? And and I'm like, how many people do I have to tell in one hospital my name and I'm naked in a garb, I got a band on my wrist, and I have another moron asking me what my name is. I mean, it's just like. I just love, when Life Says Your Lemons, I just sat there just blissfully taking in the overall stupidity of the entire operation of Banner Healthcare, which is the largest hospital in Phoenix, Arizona. And it couldn't have been more batshit crazy, completely insane. I was just waiting for a midget and a juggler to walk in the room, and bring me a beer. It was just like, They couldn't have surprised me anymore. I don't know what level of incompetency they could have reached, and I was just like, wow. Right. And we spend 17 cents of every dollar on healthcare in the United States, and it doesn't even cover 50 million people. I could probably make it 7 cents of every dollar and cover everybody without even trying. It's just so dentists, what they want to do is they just want to go and do root canals all day. Is it safe to say that this is how I look at it? The office manager should be working on the business. Right. The front desk lady is working in the business, making hamburgers, fries, and Cokes, taking orders, taking money, seating patients. And the front desk person, the office manager has to have a room where they can pull in an employee and shut the door and make a phone call and demo One Mind Health or Trojan or Patient Activator, Revenue Well, or looking at working on the business, not working in the business. It's kind of like dentists say, I go into every dental office, I say, where's your emergency room? Because every dentist who has an emergency room usually nets about $50,000. And I go, where's your emergency room? And they go, oh, we can squeeze them in room 4 between one. That's not an emergency room. That's an opening in your operatory. An emergency room is a room that's never scheduled ever. Every endodontist has one. Every oral surgeon has one. Everybody who makes a lot of money, every hospital has an emergency room. If your front desk lady can't sit there and someone's on the phone with an emergency and just know, like in my office, I got 8 offs in room 4, no one scheduled that. That is an emergency room. They can just, without even looking at the schedule, they say, well, yeah, just come on down. Yeah, just come on down. It's an emergency. It's an emergency room. And I like those because my average emergency actually randomly, chaotically offsets the average no-show cancellation. almost half, more, I'd say 80% of the time that I walk into an overflow and just an emergency, walk in over the phone, they threw someone in there, as they're working up, taking the PA, the bite wing, figuring out what's going on, they'll tell me, Jan will say, well, this works out perfectly because your 10 o'clock just canceled, no-showed, whatever. Right. So what else should office manager do? You said they should be the number one cheerleader.
Yes, they should. They need to be encouraging the team. When you have those emergencies that you work in, you said it yourself, you have a bunch of ladies that work with you. Sometimes when when the front squeezes in that emergency, we're not the most popular person in the dental office. So, we need to be encouraging. We need to be able to have some knowledge of what's happening in the back so that we can help make sure that everything flows smoothly. We need to order the supplies. We should be, oh gosh, this is a tough one. We are responsible for making sure that everyone gets along in the dental practice. So when you work with a bunch of women, I have a friend who's an office manager for an oral surgery clinic. There are 21 women in that clinic, and I tell her all the time she's my hero because I have 8, and I'm at my limit.
Well, you walked into that, so I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. I've only got you for 9 more minutes, and we're 51 down, 9 to go. If I said that, I'd be a sexist pig, and I'd get all this complaint mails and all. I can basically only make fun of fat people, bald people, Catholics, Irish, and drunks. That's about the only people I can go after. But is managing women different than managing men?
Okay, I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say yes based upon my experience. Because it's kind of like, okay, I might put myself in trouble here. But one of the main reasons why I would never vote for Hillary Clinton is because she's a woman. Okay? We are emotional, okay? And I mean,
oh my God, that's the best quote of the year. The only reason I'm not voting for Hillary is because she's a woman. And who said it? A woman.
I'm in so much trouble. I just lost so many clients. But no, I just think that women tend to be very emotional. I mean, I'm not saying anything that we don't know. And it's not that that doesn't make us good at what we do, but sometimes it can really be hard when you're trying to deal with someone. Men have a much easier job of walking through that door and putting it to the shelf. We talked about this imaginary box. When you walk through that back door, you need to be able to put your personal life in that box. When you get ready to leave, you want to pick it back up, that's up to you. But when you're in this practice, we're a team now. And I know that some things are harder to do than others. Believe me, I get it, But having said that, when I have gone into practices and there's that, not always, but there's that one person that just walks in and she's got that attitude and she just doesn't, and I say she because it's always been she when I'm seeing it, So I'm not saying we're all that way, that would be
I got a good friend. I got a good friend that has a construction company, does like $300 million a year. And he's got like 1,000 employees, and they're all men out in the field, construction, all that stuff. And then he's got the headquarters office, and there's mostly men, all this stuff. But he's got 6 ladies in there doing reception work. He says them 6 women have been 99% of all of his HR problems for 30 years. 30 years, just six people. So my question is, getting right to the point, a dentist, he may love the hygienist, he may love the assistant, he may think his receptionist is great, but 2 of them hate each other. And let's just say one of them has that attitude, whatever. And she's hot or cold, she's moody, whatever. What are crossing the lines? Where's the line cross where you say, well, maybe I can work with her, maybe I can talk to her, maybe I can get involved. And where does the line cross where you say, you know what, she's toxic, and to save your team, you got to let her go. And maybe she's your favorite assistant. Maybe she's your favorite hygienist. Maybe she's really good at what she does. But as far as the team dynamics go, where's the line cross where you just fire them?
Well, for me anyway, what I do, I pull them in and talk to them, just one-on-one. What's going on? Can I help you with anything? And give them the opportunity to let me know if there's something bothering them. If that, and then I'll let them know if we've noticed some behavior, it's not conducive to the office environment that we're looking for. If it continues, I might have to write you up or, whatever your course of action might be. Give them, every opportunity to change and give them a time period to change in. But if it doesn't work, don't do this though. I'm a member of a grieving parents club.
I know, and I'm
And
sorry.
no, no, no. But what I was going to say
No,
was
no.
there was a woman in this club who told me her boss pulled her into his office and said, "I'm going to need you to shape up by January 31st, or we're just going to have to let you go." Now, there are different there are different types of problems in this world that we all have to be considerate of. But even having said that, Howard, I understand that he has an office and he has to protect it, but there are ways to go about doing these things. So I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Maybe something crappy has happened in your life. How can I help you make it better? But if you're not actively trying to make it better, then, I have no choice. Ultimately, this is a business. It's like the dirty word in dentistry, but it is a business. And our business is to take care of patients. So if you're not helping us do that, then you're against us. And, through the course of time, then yes, I definitely think you have to get rid of toxic people. And the sooner you start the process, the sooner you can get rid of them.
I think what I do if one of my staff is completely out of line, I try to stay at least 10 feet away, then just like toss pieces of chocolate at them. That seems.
Chocolate works.
I know chocolate works. If you can get a slingshot and fire an M&M in her mouth, that might settle her down. But in all seriousness, again, I've said this a million times. I mean, what I thought would be the hardest thing in life, which was learning the calculus and physics and geometry and trig, all turned out to be the least important, stupidest, and I look at my 9 years of college. And I could condense that program down to 2. I mean, 80% of everything I learned in the library is useless information, and everything I learned in the sandbox in kindergarten turned out to be the most important. And and I got to credit my mom for that. I mean, my mom is she's one of them Catholics that is way too Catholic. You know what I mean? I mean, all my sisters that are nuns, they're way too nunny, they're way too Catholic and all that stuff. But at the bottom of the funnel of all their craziness, it's just people. It's just treat other people like you want to be treated.
It's those life lessons
And what you said is, like so many people are self-centered and narcissistic, and like they'll go to a counter and the person won't make eye contact, or they'll snare at him. They go, God, what's wrong with that person? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, dude, you don't know what's going on in their life. Their mother might have cancer. Their dog might have ran away. Their husband maybe, ran off with the postman. Yeah, I mean, you have no idea what people are going through. I mean, you just have no idea. And to sit there and make it all about you. And I always put that hat on. I mean, it seems like every other day or every third day or something, you got a patient that's just like, and I just relax. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, they can go crazy. They can be talking all this stuff, and I just listen. And I always try to, when they're talking, tap their hand, like, yeah, just give them just listen. Shut up. Let them. Here's the one thing I've learned with patients, that when they start farting and, saying all these crazy things and all this stuff like that, never interrupt them. That just refuels them. Just let them completely. I don't say a damn word. And what I've noticed is that when they finally get the last shit out, they must release dopamine or serotonin, because then they're just like, oh, I ripped you a new one. I feel better now. Yeah, I feel all better. And then I'm just sitting there thinking like, good monkey, good talky monkey. You want to pat him on the head? And then you just want to start picking up the piece. Say, well, I'm sorry. Your root canal from the last dentist. I'm sorry, your mom gave you soft teeth. You got to repeat their tragedy, because if you don't repeat it, they don't think you listen to them. And even though you remembered everything they said, you got to repeat it. And that's what I just will say till the day I die, that it's just the people skills. If you just learn all the soft stuff.
Communication. When someone asks me what I do, it's kind of funny, because that's why I work with teams on how to engage in meaningful communication. That's what it's all about. It's about that conversation.
So now, are you doing in-office consulting? Are you going into offices? How do my listeners get a hold of you? They go to frontdesklady.com?
Yes, they can go there.
They can email you?
They can email me at lisamarie@frontdesklady.com.
That's Lisa Marie Presley at frontdesklady.com.
Okay, here's the funny story, Howard, is that I was named after her. My father is a huge Elvis fan.
Really?
Yes, I was born 2 months after Lisa Marie.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
I tell everybody that, I am Lisa Marie, but I never married Michael Jackson, and I don't have her money. Other than that, I'm Lisa Marie.
And what's your favorite Elvis song?
Oh gosh, there are so many, but probably my favorite is Suspicious Minds.
Yeah, and I'm so damn old. I actually got to see him at Henry Levitt Arena in Wichita, Kansas, at Wichita
Oh.
State University,
Do
and
you
he
know when
was
he died?
so.
I was 11 years old, and I remember crying. We were in the car, and we heard it on the radio, and I started crying because I was never going to get to see Elvis Presley.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I share the same birthday with the only guy that sings better than Elvis Presley, and I
Oh,
share the same birthday with him, August 29th.
I don't know who that is.
Who's the only guy who's a greater dancer, singer? Michael Jackson.
Oh, not a Michael Jackson fan.
And you know how I can prove it? Because my mom thinks it's Frank Sinatra. I've been in every continent. I've been to every one of them. And the only artist you'll see from the hills of Brazil to China to Shenzhen to India, the whole world, God, Ethiopia is Michael Jackson. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a kid with a boombox doing the moonwalk in damn near every country. I mean, that is the only universal singer that I'm aware of. I don't think I can think of a single other singer that I've heard in every single country that I've been to.
Yeah, he's definitely popular, but
Well,
I'm
you
still not a fan.
so how much does your consulting cost, or is it depends on the situation and
It really does. I mean, because one of the things that I think sets me apart from the big consulting groups out there is I am strictly front office. So I'm a niche dental consultant or consultant. I don't go in and try to fix the whole practice because I don't know what's wrong with the whole practice and I don't want to know. I help your front office team. So, and if it's a startup practice, I'll help them, create forms and come up with guidelines for scripts because I'm not a scripts fan. I think that they're too impersonal. But yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
well, the best marketing you could do is create an online CE course called Front Desk Lady, and market it. Well, I can when someone puts a course out, I can digitally put it out in front of 300,000 dentists from every country on earth, and then these dentists, 80% of my audience is U.S. and it should be something aimed at the whole office for an hour. The whole office watch you for an hour, and then a lot of dentists will look at that, and if they know the way you think, and they trust you, and they like what you're saying, and they like what you're going to do, then they think, hell, I want to write you a check so you can just come in and get it done. I
Mhm.
think it's very counterintuitive. I think most of your consultants with FAADOM think if they do an online CE course and give away all the answers of what you should do, then they think no one's going to hire their business. And it's exactly the opposite. When the dentist sees what you're going to do, then they don't have any fear. And then it's just like when you go to a restaurant and order a steak. I could go out in the backyard and make a steak. I mean, I've done that a million times, but you want to pay someone a check to cook it for you. That's why you go to a restaurant. And I think if you did a program, whether it be 1 hour or a 3-part series or whatever, I think if you spelled out everything you know and everything you would do for a team, I think thousands of dentists would look at that and say, damn, I want to write her a check and have her come to Shawnee, Kansas and get that going on in my office. Because they know if you explain it to them, the dentist say, I know what I need, but then they'll look at the man in the mirror, my favorite Michael Jackson song, and they'll look at the man in the mirror and say, I just ain't going to get it done.
Right.
So am I looking at you when I said that? Do you have suspicious minds? Hey, I
I
think
think
you're
that's a great idea.
yeah, do it. I think it would be great. I just think it would be damn great, and it'd be very effective. And like I say, my whole goal is to get dentists to share information. I try to find the dental unicorns like you, who are freaks and success and been doing this for decades and top of their game, and get your information spread to the masses,
Hmm.
so that people can find help. Because at the end of the day, I just want them to be happy and healthy as we all get through this thing called life.
Right, right. Well, thank you. I'm going to take you up on that. I'm going to look into that.
All
I'm
right,
sure I
young
could do
lady.
something.
And I'm going to get out the phone and go fire Kalani. Can I just have you call her and you fire her? And then I don't even have to
Hell
tell her the bad
no.
news.
No, no.
Okay, thank you for all that you do. It was an honor that you shared an hour with me today.
Thank
I'm
you.
your
Thank you
biggest
for
fan.
asking me.
All right,
All
take
right,
care.
take
Bye-bye.
care.